Good morning. It's good to see you all this morning. The invocation today will be, I'm thinking this is just a little too loud. Can we lower it a bit? Thank you. Wonderful. The invocation this morning are words by Barbara Wells, Reverend Barbara Wells. O spinner, weaver of our lives, your loom is love. May we who are gathered here be empowered by that love to weave new patterns of truth and justice into a web of life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting. It's good to be together. Let's sing hymn number 38 in the gray hymnal, Morning Has Broken. Please rise as you are able in body and or spirit.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is Brigitte Miller, and I'm a member of our worship committee. If you're having trouble hearing us, please raise your hand here in the meeting house or message us in the chat function on Zoom so that we can adjust the sound. We are so glad that you have chosen to be here with us this morning or to join us virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you're welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You'll find information about First Parish in your pew. One of the greeters or I would be happy to answer any questions you might have, and any of us would welcome the opportunity to walk with you to social hour after the service. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship. So I call your attention to the printed announcements that came in your order of worship or found in your email link. In particular, there are 4 items of note. Today's music, there will be lots of beautiful music, but the Meeting House Choir will be singing an anthem that was composed by Tricia too, in memory of a few missing voices in choir. And a reminder about the prison book program. The drive is still ongoing, and you can drop off books until November 10th. And there's drop off in the back and in the link. Thank you. Oh, link on the way to the social hour later. There will be Vesper services on November 7th. Read more about those in your handout. And Harvest Supper is coming up on November 9th. It'll be potluck, so start thinking about what you might want to bring. Now let's take a few minutes to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new. For those on Zoom, please turn on your video and go to gallery view so you can say hello to each other on Zoom. As we enter into worship, please take a moment to make sure your cell phones are silenced. Is there anyone that would like to light the chalice this morning? All right, why don't we have all of the volunteers come up together, please? Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves and the divine, when we can choose to just be present. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in a relationship of interdependence and mutuality. Now please join me in saying the call to worship on your laminated card. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
So in the time for all ages this morning, the title is We Get to Vote. Does anybody here know what that means? Yes, what? To represent, right. We get to pick who we want to represent. Does anybody know what's happening this Tuesday? Yes. You're going to vote for? Going to vote for our next president, right. And I don't know if you all have been noticing, but this has been quite a time to think about the election. Lots and lots and lots of advertisements, lots and lots of talk, lots and lots of strife, lots and lots of tension and anxiety about what's going on, because it's going to be a really, really close vote, and so people are really worried about it. So what kind of things happen to your body when you feel like tense or scared or wondering what's going to happen? Anybody have an idea of what happens to you? Yes. A shiver like all through, yes. Anything else? Any other way that people feel? When you're kind of anxious, when things aren't feeling right? Sweat. We sweat. Yes. Anybody else? Can't sleep. Cannot sleep. What else? Heartburn. Oh, eat too fast, eat too much. Anything? Spontaneous crying can happen when you're kind of not sure what's going to happen next, right? I'm sorry? Doom scrolling. And what does that mean, Leslie? Spending too much time on social media to keep the sense of doom going. Yes? The eye twitching? Some twitching. That does happen in our face sometimes. Yes, Diana? Irritability. People are a little more irritable, a little bit more angry. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. Yes, Dan?
I find myself digging up an old shovel out of the garage and digging a hole and burying my phone in it. I don't know what's happening.
Get rid of that phone. Too many messages, too many texts. Nice, good. So let's talk now about what it feels like when you're not anxious, when things are going okay. How do you feel? Yes. Warm, right? The cold goes away, right? Yes. A weight pulling you down. Feel grounded. Sort of feel grounded, feel strong about where you are. Anyone else? What else feels when you're not anxious, when you're feeling okay? You feel taller. What else? You breathe easier. Yeah. Liz. You can find joy. Yeah. Do you have something? No. Anyone else? You know, one thing that happens in tension and stress, too, is you start to not be able to remember things. You can't remember, you can't find words, you can't. And then when you're calm, sometimes those memories can come back. The sense of ease comes back. So we have to do, as citizens who are going to vote, and some of you probably already have voted, is to pay attention to how your body is to pay attention to how you're feeling. And some of the ways that you can feel at ease are, of course, finding someone else to talk to. If you're feeling cold, get some warmth. If your eyes are twitching, then maybe take some deep breaths or just close your eyes and just try and remind yourself, right, that we can feel both tense and not tense. And sometimes we can help ourselves ease our bodies, because the election is coming on Tuesday, folks. So it's, let's just let it be, let it come, and try and find ways to help that shallow breathing. Try and find ways to not feel so afraid or cold. And there are ways that you can do that, right? You can take walks. What are some of the ways that you can do that to feel better? What helps you feel better? What helps you feel better? Hot cup of tea. What else? What helps you feel better when you're not feeling good? Singing. Yes. A good book. This is good advice. Yes. Turn off the news. Do something positive for your neighbor. Remember, you're in community. Yes.
Taking
Taking a shower. Yes, that can sometimes make you feel better. Yes, Addie. A bath, did you say? A warm bath. Yes, very nice. Yes. Leanna, likes to journal, write down what's going on, what do people feel. One more thing, Addie? Oh, dancing, of course. Yes, dancing. So we've just given ourselves a whole bunch of advice. I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Phoebe. Yes. Count to 10. Well, that is very good advice. So we've given ourselves a few things, some reminders on how we can feel better, and some reminders that we're not alone in how we're feeling. Both of those things are very important, something that we can help each other do in community. All right, let's sing everyone to their classes. So in this time of stillness together, this gift we give each other, feel free to do it however you want. I have a little suggestion to think of one of the things that was either mentioned or something that you thought of when I asked, what helps you feel better? And just breathe in and just bring yourself there, transport there for a little while. Let's sing together hymn number 1007, and feel free to just stay seated and let that just kind of flow into you. There's a river flowing in my soul. This last Friday night, people from First Parish Milton and the Church of the Holy Spirit, an Episcopal church in Mattapan Square, enjoyed a bridging dinner here in Parish Hall. We endeavor to meet once a month to sup together, though this is our first meeting after the summer break. We order food from a Black-owned restaurant and share hopes, dreams, jokes, and good wishes as we chow down. A year in, there are people who come to most of the dinners, so hugs and happy hellos are also now part of the rhythm. Of course, Tuesday's election was on everyone's mind. Debbie Alcibi, our intrepid organizer of this hope-filled event, offered the prompt for conversation before dessert. What brought you here, and what brings you hope? Much candor, emotion, and affirmation followed. Many shared a comfort of being in this intentional community, gathered for the deepening of understanding of one another and forming friendships. It's a simple community-building gesture with the wisdom of nourishment through food, conversation, and recognition to ground our welcoming of one another. By building relationships and listening to each other's honesty, we create a shared strength to face challenges that we cannot embark on our own. We can do this. We can face whatever is next with the grounding of community. It's good to be reminded of that. Good to remember that we affect others and that our choices send ripples of response beyond our full knowing. Right now, we're being called to pay attention to what is happening in our nation. This is about our viability. The public discourse has taken a terrible turn toward insults and incivility, especially toward women, immigrants, and people of color, at a level that continually shocks the system. And we are experiencing weather events and rising tides that cry out for notice if we want to survive as a species. Symptoms of alienation and addiction, hopelessness and hatred, paranoia and poverty of courage infect the spirit until our choices become enslaved within a bleak, unresponsive disregard for life. Voices of hope and possibility, of vision and beauty need to arise within the multitude. Much stronger, much louder, and much more grounded. As Leona said, I feel a weight coming down and then I feel grounded. Hopelessness is bearing false witness. We still have voices and visions that keep us building health-filled lives. We still have resolve toward expanding strength of love that can uplift us from this wave of despair. We are capable of an undercurrent of courage and claiming that can change the direction of fear and cynicism. It's important to remember that the use of fear, disregard of truth, and intensifying despair undermine one's sense of possibility until one's sense of agency crumbles to lack of action, low self-esteem, and worse, mob mentality, a kind of compelling groupthink. Remember James Baldwin's important reminder, it is certain in any case that ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. We need to keep learning, keep curious, keep clear that our agency is a sacred gift of life. Several of the participants at the bridging dinner spoke of young loved ones who are inheriting this world, a world that our choices have handed them. Our ancestors braved choices responding to the challenges of their time, and it is now on us to do the same as part of the heritage of humanity. A colleague once gave me a shirt which reads, "Be a good ancestor now." A powerful way to recognize our interconnected responsibility through the generations. What an extraordinary opportunity this is to be a direct part of the shaping of humanity's next steps. We have the resources. Our inborn wisdom and lessons learned from our ancestors. We have all we need to bring about the lives we know we can live together. That's not something that happens once or for all time. It's tending and nurturing of spirit. It's gentle reminders and well-timed wake-up calls. It's sowing seeds and cultivating health. We come together to remind ourselves of our worthiness, to gain insight from different perspectives, to embolden projects of love and justice, and to grow in understanding of life in its majesty and mystery. It's good to acknowledge as well that we didn't just appear here. We bring with us heritages and histories that inform our ways of being in the world. So much was done for us before we came to be. So much is known because of the gifts of our ancestors. They gave both wisdom tales and don't try this again caveats from experience. Remembrance rituals can deepen that knowing of unseen connections. Remembrance can help us see where we have come from and where we might be going. It can inform us of our patterns of being, of lessons learned, of visions yet to come to life, the seeds of knowing. It's part of the conversation of our being, which says we're a part of this ever-transforming world. This last week of Halloween and All Souls Day is a time in our culture when we welcome touching on the unknown and wonder how it is a part of our lives. Several cultures call on one's ancestors and the dead during this time to honor their presence in our lives, to embrace the spirit of their being in our ways and walking. This is not only an honoring of what has brought us to this presence, it is also a recognition that we are in a dance of life and death, of discovery and loss, of the unknown and the newly found, of echoes and new notes. It's not just our eventual death that we are called to accept. It's also the deaths of our ancestors and loved ones. When we accept the transience of our lives, we can open ourselves to the mysterious abiding of all that came before us. Death ends a life, as I say, not a relationship. So there is a presence of being beyond our understanding that is a part of the reality of our lives. Honoring the veil between life and death can strengthen our resolve to cherish the freedom to choose how we live. To cherish, indeed, that which influences our choices on how we live. Unitarian Universalism is a faith that calls us to be mindful of our signatures of being, how we in our choices celebrate life, how we in our advocacy use our agency for shared being, how we in our living dwell in the interdependent web of existence. And we here, too, observe an annual ritual of remembrance of loved ones who have died. And in a little bit, we will follow that through, which is asking people to come forward and if they brought a memento, to put it on the table and right down there, to light a candle and put it in the sand, and then speak the person's name and relationship if you want to do that. We also wanted to ask all of you on Zoom, feel free to write in the chat who you might want to be mentioned, and Brigitte will do that at some point during this ceremony. Guidance is everywhere, in our values, in our experiences, in shared wisdom and stories of our ancestors. May we honor them all. May we honor our lives. May we choose to be good ancestors. So may it be. So to start us off, a beautiful invocation we get is the piece by Tricia 2 for choir. It's honoring the memory of Chris Pitt and Walt Hagenbuch, beloved members who died last year, in the last 2 years. So now we invite people to come forward and light a candle, thusly. And if you have anything to bring, please bring. And stick it in the sand and speak the name and relationship. This is for, I guess, the latest death, Mark, my brother.
My son's not with me today, but this is for my ex-husband, his father, and his father's parents, and my grandparents, all four of them, and my mom. Thank you. Sorry I'm in my robe, but see you after at social.
For Dan Devine, my husband.
For my mother, Maybelle Alice Larson. She had a hard life. But I love her.
Louis Pratt and Fred Partridge, my two grandfathers.
Isabel and Joseph Pincus, mom and dad.
Joanne Chancellor, my sister.
My mother, Louise Murray.
For my parents, Bill and Celia Hannon, and for my siblings, Claire, Bill, Joan, Connie, Francis, and Charlie.
For my parents, Chick and Bridie Franich, and my brother Michael.
For my parents, Jan and Wally McPherson.
For our friend Neil Curran, who died this year, just a month ago, with cancer.
For my sister-in-law, Jada Teyaderi, who died way too young this year.
For Patrick Ouellette, my brother.
My parents, Maisie and Arthur John.
For my wife, Judith.
For my husband, James Harris, and for my old friend, Abe Salzman.
It's for my dad, Maurice, who's gone 2 years, and I think about him every day.
for all those thought of and unmentioned who have touched our lives. A hymn to close this out is Breaths, hymn number 1001. The choir will be singing it, and please join in whenever you feel ready to. Let's join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. O life in its fullness and mystery, Spirit of generations, given us what we have on this earth now, what we give to this earth now. Come to our awareness. Help us know that our lives are full of many different events, many different losses, many different found moments, many different joys. Let us gather them all. Be grateful for all who touch our lives. Be grateful how we can touch others. And as we do, we think of what's going on in the world right now. The strife and the newborns, the struggles and the dancing. Let us embrace it all with hopes for a grounded humankind. And for all the prayers lifted up but unspoken, let us surround them in love. Amen.
Good morning. Automobile dealer Herb Chambers has a billboard up around the area these days that reads, "This is not a political ad. You're welcome." A few of you may have thought that I might be reflecting on faith and money, but I am not, and you're welcome. My heritage is 1/2 Croatian and 1/2 Irish. Those two cultures have been trying to settle disputes through violent conflict for hundreds of years, and I'm not at all sure that they're finished. But I've been lucky. My Democratic Irish mother and my Republican Croatian father were both quite rational human beings, and each of them taught me a lot about how to disagree civilly, even if occasionally it was loudly. My prized possession and my memento for today is a newspaper article, an editorial from my hometown newspaper from October of 1961 entitled "A Strictly Non-Political Political Appointment." It applauds then California Governor Pat Brown, Sr., Jerry Brown's father, a Democrat, to name my Republican father to a Superior Court judgeship. He did so despite there being a Democratic possibility with more experience and the support of the state Democratic Central Committee. And Brown was ready to run for re-election against Richard Nixon. I think it took some guts. I never did know who advised him about that, but good decision as far as I'm concerned. Things are different now, and next Tuesday feels like a major turning point in the life of our country. Whatever the outcome, we will have a lot of work to do, because half the country doesn't agree with me at this point, so we got to do something. I believe strongly that relearning how to disagree civilly and respectfully is critical to the survival of our democracy. And finding the spiritual strength to resist fighting abuse with more abuse is one of the primary reasons why I am a member of this community of First Parish. This democratic institution is almost 100 years older than our national democracy. The members of this community have lifted up Ruth and me and had our backs for 35 years now. That's just a hair more than 1/10 the life of this community since it started. It's a little scary thought. I am eternally grateful to you and promise to keep you in my thoughts and prayers this week. Please keep me in yours. And we'll keep moving forward together and doing our best to stand up firmly and respectfully for what we believe to be right. And for those of you who will be voting on Tuesday, if you haven't voted already, make sure to thank your poll workers.
Today's offering is dedicated to the services and ministry of First Parish Milton. To give, please follow the instructions printed on your card or the instructions that are on Zoom. If you're proud of this church, become its advocate. If you care about its future, share its message. We welcome all to build a just and healthy world with faith, love, and compassion. Please support our faith community.
Gib mir die Hand, dass ich sie heimlich drücke. Und wenn man sieht, mir ist es einerlei, gib mir nur einen, deine süßen Blicke, wie einst im Mai. Es blüht und duftet heut auf jedem Grabe. Ein Tag im Jahr ist ja den Toten frei. Komm an mein Herz, dass ich dich will habe, wie einst im Mai.
Please stand as you're willing and able, and join me in the unison dedication, followed by the doxology. Both are in your pews, in your laminated card. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need. And may we be transformed by generosity.
Extinguish our chalice flame. May that flame burn deep and wide within us. May we know the strength of life that our faith can give us. And may we take what has been felt today, the expression of love, the expression of community, the expression of gratitude, into this next week. And be yourselves, be careful, and find the sunlight. Have a good week. Amen.